So what Jack is about to go into is that the solar array is live. Um, I did talk to Connor. We want to do the press release and the publicity photo. We obviously can't do the publicity photo at 6:30. Six. So I asked Connor to talk to the select board and figure out a time when they would be willing or if they just want the energy together. So I haven't heard anything back. Rob, I see didn't get a response from. He had some 3 hours of meetings this morning in town hall. Had other stuff that got pushed into the result. I asked him if Connor had mentioned this. And I didn't get
Shut up on my phone. Okay. Now, how do I get?
Oh, okay. So that's needed. We can turn off the share. It's being recorded. We don't need to record it. Should fill up this. Well, so this will show a window, and you'll have to decide which window. Oh, you're going to have to go and give it some permissions. It looks like. Like
Really? Have I told you how much I hate technology?
yeah. Unfortunately, it's your job.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, it's been away for quite a while. Oh, come on.
Just go from. Okay. Yeah, I would do screen. That shows your whole screen. Okay, you're up. What are you looking for?
Well, I'm trying to get to the screen that I want, and of course, this is on Firefox as well, and it's like hidden here.
Close this. Is that what you want it?
Nope. Unless it's on mail now.
Okay.
All right, let's just do this. We'll start. Okay. Okay, so this is today's production here. I'm going to give you an overview of this later. And there are these 3 meters that are on the desktop. One is solar production, this one in the middle. This one is actually building load, how much energy is coming in from the building, and that's how much energy is leaving the building. Obviously, it's negative right now. But if we go to this, so this is actual daily production, and we can look at every inverter's production. This I found really interesting because we have that set of panels up there that faces due south, and it really stands out. Like all of that's west facing. That's the south facing panels. So you can see in the morning there, it was worth putting those extra panels up there because we're getting all that extra production.
What time did you turn these on, Jack? Or
Just
were they-
8 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
I got an email from Eversource at 7 saying, hey, there's a new meter. I'm like, look,
They didn't tell you when they were
no.
gonna do it.
I called Jim. I said, you have a new meter? He's like, no. So I think that we need to look at the data that we can get, but I'm pretty sure that we can get not only the production data, but the excess data. Because we're
Okay, so you mean the net?
yeah, so we can calculate the exact value of all the kilowatt hours.
It's not anywhere in the pre-built screens, the dashboard?
Just those are both for,
Okay, because what I was wondering was if I looked up, what's it called? What's the name of the company that's providing?
solar log.
Yeah, I looked up SolarLog. They do have an API.
Yes.
And I don't actually, it's all HTTP based. So it should be pretty easy to get in. Do you know anything about implementing any of that?
I mean, I know how to like embed stuff, like certain, where you could embed part of their website that would remain live, whatever, like something like this, but I think it depends on getting that.
Yeah, I don't think they give us the capability of embedding their actual dashboard. I was wondering if that might be the easiest thing to do.
Oh, well, it'd be harder to get to the values. I think we need a monthly CSV file that we just dump into a spreadsheet.
You would prefer to, well, I mean, that's what we need for our purposes.
Well, no, for the task force, he already, Connor already has an API.
Oh,
He's already got what he needs.
oh, he does.
Yeah. He gave it to him months ago.
Is that what he needs to get the data that we want, or is it?
No, it'll give him his dashboard and some other stuff.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he knows how to
That he
do
can put it
that.
on the main website.
I think so, yeah, I think so.
Okay, there's the red, if he shows us how he does that, we might be able. We actually don't go through the town for the rest of it. We should just do it.
No, we want to just download the data,
Okay.
put it in the spreadsheet.
Does Dave want to do any of this, or should I ask a friend?
He's pretty busy and would rather not, but he
Okay.
would definitely help if there were no other options.
Okay, let me check with some. Yeah, we'll be able to get. Yeah, right behind us.
Okay, so the other thing is this whole series of emails that are set up. That there's a daily yield email that you get and I get and you get.
Yeah.
Should
I have gotten it?
No, you'll get it tomorrow morning, and anybody else can get them if they want them.
I got an email already
You did?
about the yield.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to go back and check. But then there's, loss of communication, restoration of communication, there's a whole chain of emails that are set. So if nobody's paying attention, it should send an email that said, hey, it's not communicating or whatever.
Okay. So we should probably, since Connor already has the embedded website, from what you're saying. Is there something wrong with that being the public facing?
No,
Okay.
no, I mean, it's basically this screen. Actually, maybe this will play. Yeah, see, there's some stuff here. We'll have to add a few pictures. Yeah, I think this is what it gets.
That's it?
Well, it's got several screens.
Okay, good. Because I mean, oh, I see. It cycles through?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's not terribly exciting.
Well, I mean, it would be, I think people will probably tend to want to look at an individual screen rather than having it scanned through, but I'm not going to worry about that. If this is what's available and Connor's happy with it,
yeah,
I'll ask him to put it up wherever he wants. I think our site our page is appropriate.
Yeah.
But if he wants to do something for, more town-based,
Visibility.
I'm not going to argue with him about it. Whatever he wants to do.
You can probably have it on more than one place, right? Can it be on our page and maybe the main town,
Yeah.
like, we want as many eyes on this as possible.
Of that
of stuff in multiple places.
Yeah,
I think just with the FAQ question.
I believe they had segue there. Who has the segue?
Yeah.
Close.
that probably tells you about when this was developed.
So there's like 10 or 15 screens here.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous, but, and I'll,
To get them to do that.
really? It depends on how he implemented this.
Yeah, this isn't an API, it's just a link.
Right, this isn't,
Um,
but this isn't the link.
What do you think it is?
Did you look at it?
I get that
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I think that is.
segue and,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
How many
really do
miles
all
and-
my calculations based on segue.
yeah, it's kind of odd.
Okay, well, we'll
But
take-
so if that graph is right, we made 80 kilowatts today,
In November.
80 kilowatt hours.
That's probably fine.
Good.
yeah. Yeah, that's very good, actually.
And the building doesn't actually, I'm surprised the building consumption is not. as high as I would've thought. It's not even about 10 kilowatts.
Oh, well, that's good.
Peak, during the day, all right.
Yes, peak. I never saw it go above 10 kilowatts.
And now it's at
Did I get
something like
that in
four
the
and a half.
mail?
Yeah.
Well, I wanna say, when I got mine, it was 40-something kilowatts was generated. So why would it do one in the middle of the day?
That's instantaneous.
An email.
Oh,
It's, I don't know. You'll get it first thing tomorrow morning. I get them every morning early. And all it does is, so here's the other thing.
Let's see.
Don't put too much stock in that. It'll give you,
Yeah.
it'll give you a percentage of the estimate.
Yeah.
And the estimates are never right, number one, and number two, I have final
Yeah.
stringing stuff on the roof, so the percentage is not gonna be right.
Yeah.
But the number of kilowatt hours will be right.
I was just surprised what it was at that time when I get the email.
Well, so it, it assumes on a given day, in this time of year, it's gonna make this many kilowatt hours.
Oh, it is estimating that?
Yeah, and on the yield report, it's gonna say what percentage of that did it do, but that's based on a whole bunch of factors that haven't been filled in yet, because you can't do it until the thing's turned on. So it doesn't really, the only thing that really matters is the number of
Yes.
it's really just it's running.
Well, people will be interested in how many watts instantaneous it's generating, what the cumulative is for the day.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be interested in much beyond.
Well, they're not getting the yield reports anyway. I use the yield report just so every morning I can see who's running and who's not. It's just a good, it's still running. It's really, that's what it's good for.
Yeah.
And I can find out what the weather is like in Fallout, Vermont yesterday.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's, yeah,
Jack,
that's
the
good.
pictogram of that woman is really.
Yeah,
Ask the
they're,
Germans.
they're pretty
Okay.
obnoxious.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
She's
I don't know what's with
a
that.
gigantic
That's a
bosom.
little.
No, I didn't notice that. Is
Okay,
it? We'll wait
so-
till it goes around again. Oh,
So that's.
Okay, well, good. Like I said, we'll talk about it with Connor. I expect that we're gonna want to make some changes. Because of what has just been brought up here.
The proportion is absurd. $40, all I have to say.
Yeah.
This is,
I
this is,
don't know what the level of customization of that dashboard stuff is. We can submit our own imagery and build our own thing.
we can definitely build our own thing, and if all we want to do is display numbers, that's really easy to do, and we can just use the API that's available to us. And they publish that. We'll have to figure out some stuff with passwords and things like that. What do you use to get into
I
that?
don't have a password.
Oh, you don't? It's open. Oh, okay. Well, that should make it easy. I'm surprised.
I could have, but I don't.
Okay, I didn't realize they would allow that, but that should make it easy. Let me, I'll talk to a friend of mine, get some background on basically what needs to be done here, and then I can take it away. Good. Do you want to show us what you've got on the survey?
Sure. To pop on the meeting here so I can share my screen.
This is probably going to be a short meeting tonight because I have not done anything.
Yeah, I don't think I sent out the notes from our last meeting either, so. Halloween, time change, election, big project at work, it's too much in one week.
Yeah, it's too much.
All right, so there's 30 responses, 2 are my tests from the beginning. I'm just kind of just go through each question so far. I can expand.
It
on
shows how it's
questions.
compiled and things like that. The results are compiled. That's,
I don't think that would have any more. So I can also open this up. I have it actually.
oh, this is the.
Like an Excel sheet, I think it's kind of messy to look at. I think it's nicer to look at in this way. We can expand each question. I don't think that it gives us any more information for that question.
So I just want to see, so most of them are 30 to 59. 30 to 44, actually. Okay, that's good.
Where the committee, people weren't aware.
I'm actually surprised that many were.
Yeah, me too.
But then again, it's self-selected, so there should be people.
Yes,
Some
that's true.
interest.
This breakdown of how they want to prefer to see stuff.
Uh,
Toss up between
They
email,
really
social media.
don't
and
like
website.
local meetings, do they? I guess we learned that the hard way.
Matt's not here, so.
Yeah.
All right, so this stuff. Time to look at. So like the bigger the red, that means more people responded to it.
Yeah, this was what I was sort of afraid of, that everything would be pretty high priority, except for public workshops and forums. Oh. So I've got a pretty high. need.
Yeah, so the stuff there. Municipal. Top 3.
Oh, they don't want the EVs.
No,
Okay. And they don't want carpooling either. Yeah, truck.
you're being recorded.
I know. I think that's what I learned from the survey. That's what
All right, school district priorities. That's more positive. Oh, it's weird. It was like dark words, like red on my screen.
I think we need to do some public education. How your kids will
Yeah,
always.
yeah. I mean, I did change the statement so that it included saying lower particulate pollution, improving health. I
Yeah,
don't know if that made any effect or had any.
Maybe using the word investing. That's money.
Okay.
All right, general goals. Not very even.
Yeah,
Distributed.
yeah, you don't get anything separated out.
Well, and it's only 30 people too, but it's a good start.
Yeah, it's, I thought it was-
And it's, remember, this is gonna run through the end of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
year.
I was telling that to people too, and they do kids and stuff. Like, it's end of the
Yeah.
take the time. And I'm glad without even asking Connor, put it up on the Facebook page, our survey, and then the
Oh.
the Caleb's.
And is it going on the tax bill too? Is that,
I
did that
don't know.
happen?
It is
I
going
think
on.
so, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Tiffany
Yeah.
got it in time. There were, I thought that might go out before the election, so she had to change the text a little bit, but it was minor. Yeah, she's gonna get that in there with a QR code.
What is, do you mind just telling me what the red one means? I can't
Yeah.
quite read the whole thing, only in areas that have already.
Been cleared of trees.
Oh, okay.
Off the property.
So the town is proposing,
Well, the town isn't really proposing much of anything. That is what our suggestions to the select board said.
Right. the prefer to be already, as far as the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you know, they have this RFP or whatever you call it, when they're getting stuff for the bids for the site on 125. And the plan is, the idea is to have a solar farm behind it. It's woods now. Right? So that's like the only.
There's a thought. I
Yeah.
don't believe it's part of any.
Yeah, it's not a
proposal.
proposal. It's an
Yeah.
idea.
Now, this is, I know Connor really would like that. It's,
It may make sense if you have,
if they could do group metering for the businesses there, yeah. If they can do that, it might. And
and if it's sloping, right, or whatever.
I'm ready to back up there and see what that's like.
that's a ways off.
I think it does slope south or south.
Does it?
Somehow.
That's nice.
It's not to the north.
Would be a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, my recommendation with that would be that they first get the industrial park or whatever it's gonna be established and then
Yeah.
with provision for putting that in already there to, because, we're gonna have to move things to reasonably sized.
Right.
But, yeah, we'll see.
But I would think it might be a selling point. PR, whatever.
It certainly would for some business owners. It's hard to say.
So, is there anything else that the committee to consider for responses? Rather than just 3, because no big long drawn out response.
To more people that didn't want us to do solar.
I might be able to look at that, like, I think when I look at
Oh,
the
cross
Excel doc,
pollination.
yeah, exactly.
Is that one person?
That, yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's one person.
Utility costs.
I mean, I don't know that costs are gonna be important. Generation will.
Well, we can, the whole point of this is price up value.
Yeah.
It would be great to implement a town building with some examples of PV and all electric
We're doing
systems to exemplify their use.
We're doing that.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was nice, I think,
Yeah.
3 positive responses on that question.
Yeah.
Educational topics. Low interest on that EV charging.
Yeah, no, they just don't, they don't want it. Okay.
They don't want much here. I mean, the winterizing does look better than some and residential solar.
And also community. So
Changing from traditional gas to electric appliances. They don't want
Yeah.
that.
Well,
Yeah, we need a lot more responses.
yeah, but this is, it's good to, yeah,
Good start.
the survey works
it,
then.
it tells us
Right.
what the
I
town
know.
is interested in.
At least that there's some interest.
Right, this doesn't mean that we are excluded from doing things that we think are important, that are not strongly supported. I mean, we need to realize that is going to be more of an uphill battle and choose our battles accordingly. But we also want to pay attention to what people are saying. If there are things that they're interested that align with what we think needs to be done, that's good. And there clearly
The
are.
good Venn diagram right there, yeah.
So we will see where this ends up at the end of the year. And it will be a lot more meaningful. Like I said, I am going to put, I'll keep it. These are easy to print out. I'll do more of those. If you want to hand them out, I'm not.
I think what I'll see is in a couple of weeks when I'm hopefully feeling okay, I'll see how many responses you have. When do the tax bills must go out pretty soon, right?
I don't know when that, does that go out
Because
with
it's
the
due in
tax bills?
December, right?
Yeah.
They're going out pretty quick because they're due the beginning of December.
Does this actually go out with the tax bill?
The
I
insert
think
does.
so, yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if by
Yeah, it's
December
gotta be
1st-ish,
out
which
soon.
is obviously about a month from now, if we still have under like 100 or, if we have low numbers, I'll go hand them out.
Okay, very good. The only thing I have to report on is I went to the CPCNH members meeting. And which was up at Steel Mountain Resort. I don't know if any of you know about that. It is a beautiful place.
Yeah, timeshare.
Yeah, timeshares.
Timeshares?
Yeah, Steel Hills timeshares.
I have a family history on them. It's not good.
Yeah, I've been there before.
My parents bought into a few of those and then
Okay.
discovered how hard it was to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there may still be one that they are pretending, or that my father is now pretending doesn't exist.
No inherited.
Tax bills.
It's easy, you don't pay the annual fee.
Well, it's not that easy because sometimes they want to get you for, if they can't make anything on it, but they can make something on you, that's what they're gonna try to do.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the case with some of these places. But I don't know if they can chase me through, a will and things like that. I'm not gonna worry about it. But it is a beautiful view from up there. That's all I was thinking. Apparently, they do have facilities for rent, so it's not just a timeshare. There was no great revelations at the member meeting. It was good. It was interesting. I will have to go through the notes. There's probably, unfortunately, the thing that all of us are kind of waiting for with bated breath is the net metering issues, and that's not going. That is stalled with the PUC. And I hate to say it, but our hopes were really pinned on Craig to move that. I don't know what Kelly Ayott's position on it will be, and that will be critical.
Yeah.
Because, it was vetoed under Sununu effectively. If she has the same position, it's just going to be stalled. It will stay in limbo forever.
That's what you should expect.
Yeah, I think she said she was gonna please continue saying, right?
Yeah, and I would not expect anything to change there, which is very unfortunate. They have come out with some fixed rates for commercial use. So they have one rate that will be out starting in January, and another one. I thought they said something about the fiscal year, but then they said June or July, and I don't think that's when the fiscal year is.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fiscal year starts July 1.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Okay, then that does make sense. So they're going to be offering those rates as an alternative to their monthly commercial rate. I don't really know how many, I believe that any commercial account that had default supply from Eversource is now getting default supply from the CPC and from Barrington Community Power. I have no idea how many people that is. The other interesting thing that, that came up was, I sent out an email about the savings for the residents, right? That was kind of interesting in and of itself, that, you know, we were effectively projected to save $250,000 over this rate period, you know, and in January. But more interesting was the fact that CPCNH has access to numbers that we do not have access to. But we can ask. So I can ask how many commercial accounts there are in town, how many are on variable monthly rate. And unfortunately, none of this is all of this is anonymized. So there's no way that you can get individual information. So I can't go to anyone and you know, say, would you like to have a fixed rate for planning purposes? Connor would say that, but you know, that's about it. So it's interesting that they do have access to information that we don't. And it does make sense. I mean, they needed that information so that they could pre-purchase for the load requirements of the town before we actually went live. That's what the numbers, that's where that number came from.
Like that. Get off. Third party supply.
Well, we were never in the new contract. They never put us in the new contract. They should have, but they didn't. We're still on a third party service, yes.
And you were gonna have a conversation with Connor about what to do.
Connor was like, write it out. So I don't know.
Meaning what?
Wait till we renew.
That's at the end of the year.
That's the end of the year.
Okay.
And we're very close. December, and he wanted to go towards community power.
Which we would discourage.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do that.
No. We need to have to talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that. Jack, you may want to
Yeah.
talk to him.
Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, because we're closed 3 days a week, that's a lot of excess power.
Right. I had also mentioned to him that he could go back and forth between, you know, in the winter,
Yeah, he
he
could.
could do community power. In the summer, you know, or in the sunny months, he could switch over to Eversource. I mean, there actually is some sense to that. But I don't know, given that this building is actually empty.
Yeah.
that- that would
And
not-
you know, we actually have the facility to get the numbers, so.
We can figure it out. Anyway,
It's just for the town hall, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
for different accounts.
the other
12 or
ones,
13 accounts and all.
yeah, the other buildings are on contract, right?
Yes.
So.
We're on the old contract. They never changed it.
The other thing that Jim and I and this guy also independently went to the local energy solutions conference. And I thought the keynote speaker was very interesting. Jim was kind of bummed out that he was basically trashing the investor on utilities, which he was. Yeah, he was basically talking about, he gave a lot of his presentation was on the history of how the transmission system has evolved and how it is no longer serving his viewpoint. I actually will send out some links with, he's published a paper in some journal. It's a long paper. I don't think any of you are going to want to read it, but I could be wrong. But he also has published a couple of opinion pieces. One was in the IEEE Spectrum. I don't know if you're familiar with that. This is the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers general publication.
I've heard of it.
It's not on my copy.
It used to be on mine.
Harvard electricity lawyer.
He is, yes, he's a,
So it's dummy.
The most spectacular about this thing was that, what's his name? Sam opened the meeting with a
Yeah.
long dissertation about how we all need to learn to cooperate. and work with each other, and then right
Just
after
the
that,
opposite.
this guy proceeds to trash Eversource.
And he realized that because we sort of, when we got there, we cornered Sam and saying, he was saying how he really wanted this to be, everyone to be welcome. And he realized that the keynote that he had gotten was not going to give that
exactly
message.
that.
It's pretty fun.
But
And he's totally factual.
it is, yeah. I mean, what he said, there's a lot of basis to what he was saying. And, the fact is that this is all heavily controlled by the existing, powers that be, which is the investor-owned utilities. So whether it was appropriate or not, that's how it was presented. I will forward all the paper and the opinion pieces. If there is a recording, do you know if those sessions are made public?
I'm sure they are.
I thought so. I thought they mentioned something about that.
I'll call
Sam?
Sam.
Because if that keynote is made public, I would encourage you to listen. It's really interesting to learn the history of how this developed.
Yeah.
And I think his opinions are very interesting. It was quite academic. For everyone in advance. But I think you would have enjoyed it, Dan.
Well, I'll call Chris or Sam tomorrow, see if they have,
Okay.
get us a copy. So, yeah, I think that's good. Everybody should listen to it because it was really good.
There has
Well,
been.
Paul, did you see that CPCNH is looking for members to join the board of directors?
Yes, they have a board opening now. Someone has stepped down, and so that's current. And then
Are you interested in that? I think you'd be great for that.
Not if I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too much. My interest, that is where my interests lie, but to do that and do this and do the Conservation Commission stuff, and I got family stuff that I'm dealing with. It's just too much. I will be thinking about it next year when they do the general elections for membership. But I don't think the story will change. But thank you, Dan. I appreciate that.
Sure.
So I think that's all there was some wind news.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Big news, really. I mean, it should be bigger, but it isn't getting much play. They did do the auction of the offshore wind lease areas in the Gulf of Maine. The good news is that it happened because the previous one they tried to do off Oregon didn't happen because they didn't get any bidders, I guess. So they just canned it. So there was some concern that it's a different market, and they have a lot of hydropower, of course, west. But anyway, they actually only sold half the leases. So it was 4 leases out of 8. It's still like 6 gigawatts worth of potential power, about 500,000 acres of real estate out there. The other distressing thing is that I think they got it at the lowest rate. There wasn't any auction really. It didn't seem to be anyway.
There was just one bidder for each.
It seems that way. Yeah, there are only 2 companies that bid, or that got the leases. But it's progress, and it'll be 10 years, of course, before they actually get developed. But it's good to see something happen. They're planning to do another one in 2028, but of course, it might depend on who's running the show down in Washington. But hopefully they'll keep to some kind of schedule because it's money for the federal treasury. They did make $22 million.
The auction.
Yeah, the actual sales, and they pay rent too, so it's ongoing. But it's a far cry from what like the New York one and the previous New England ones were like hundreds of millions of dollars.
So Doug, what would be the process for someone in New Hampshire? I assume that it would be a commercial entity, not a government.
Yeah.
what would be the process for them to buy into these projects?
Well, my understanding is they do trade them around because a lot of them changed hands, the ones from southern New England. Some of them probably changed hands more than once, but you have to have a certain amount of capital. You gotta like put up $1 million.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as I was saying, well, if the fishing interests really want to get involved, they could put up,
You want to sign a PPA for 25 kilowatts a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really a matter of when they get to the procurement part that or the actual sales that, a municipal entity probably could get in on it. But again,
Basically, then they put a price out there and I assume bids are opened up at that point. Or
I guess
purchase
I don't know how
agreements or
it's done, but of course, since New Hampshire doesn't have any process for this, we're out of the game at this point.
Well, that's sort of what I'm wondering about. What are the other states doing that we don't have?
Yeah, well, it's the basic concept.
Everything?
Yeah. Yeah.
I need more
Yeah,
specific.
but the basic word is procurement, which you require the utilities, those lovely industrial
Okay.
utilities, they're required to,
Gotcha.
and that's what, the RPS, they're required to have a certain amount of renewables. In this case, it would be they're required to purchase a
Now,
certain
the
amount of
co-op,
offshore wind.
the co-op can procure, and I assume
Yeah,
CPCNH can procure as well.
Yeah. I
And it
suppose
doesn't
could.
have to be in
Yeah.
state.
Yeah,
It just has to be part of the New England region, right?
yeah, I guess. I mean, it all depends on how they actually
Okay.
use the power. But, as far as other states, Maine has already, I don't know if it's a specific procurement, but they've set a goal of 3,000 megawatts. It's not until 2040, so they've got plenty of time.
New Hampshire's
to make
goal
that
is
happen.
23% renewable, and we're there, right?
Right, and they have, 25 is,
Sorry, 25.
in next year or whatever.
Okay.
But that's, flat lines after that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will be revisited, but it doesn't look like it under the current
No.
governor. And of course, she was quoted as saying, I support, all the above, energy strategy except for offshore wind. So it's not a good sign. Who knows? And she probably won't be governor when this actually does happen. Massachusetts actually hasn't done any procurement for the Gulf of Maine specifically. They already have, I don't know if it's like 5,000 megawatts, something like that, for the southern.
But from the map,
South
it did
of Cape.
look like one of the power, where the landing points was down in Massachusetts, wasn't it? Or is it?
Yeah, you mean the ones south of the Cape?
No, I mean
Talking
from the
about-
Gulf of Maine.
Yeah, well, one of the ones would be Salem. That's probably,
Okay.
well, it's complicated because to get to Salem, you got to go through the Stowagon Bank Marine Sanctuary. And I heard from some officials that there's a way to make that happen, but people are kind of concerned that could be a problem. Or there's of course places in Maine that can do it, but it's still said that New Hampshire is still a good place to plug in. It's just a little further away, so we'll see. But
I did have one other thing that I wanted to mention, Jack. I want to chime in on this. You'll be interested. CPCNH is now a rec aggregator. So if you are selling recs, you can sell them to the coalition.
Oh.
And they're doing that for both solar generation and thermal generation. I have to contact them about thermal generation part. They probably would never check if my array is actually connected to the grid, but I think theoretically I'm not allowed to.
so is that what plays into if you do the call it opt up? Are those the same recs or?
It would be the same recs, and I asked if there was any conflict between them being a rec aggregator and a rec purchaser. And he thought about it a minute and he said, well, I don't think so, and the state lets us do that. So that wasn't entirely satisfactory.
Yes.
So yes.
but, that was the answer.
But it sounds like it's pretty minimal at this point, as far as the opt-outs, right? It's
Oh,
In-
wait,
in
maybe
Barrington,
1%.
yeah.
no, but just the general policy is what I'm talking. Yeah, no, it's true. It's small, but just the general sort of conflict of interest of working both sides of that seems a little odd to me.
Oh.
You?
Yeah, a little.
But, I'm not gonna worry about that.
But it's not like they're gonna have a booming business,
No,
marketing regs.
no.
I mean, there's already one really big player in the state, and there are two others.
Would you consider switching to your business? No.
No, because my regs are sold in 3 states,
Better price.
and I
right?
get a better price.
That's the
How
other
do
thing
you
with
know
New
what the
Hampshire,
price
they
is?
have really low.
I see the prices every quarter.
Oh,
Of course, because there's no demand.
You know,
Yes, well, it's not-
they've got a long road to go to get to a point where it's worth it.
okay. There was something else about the project stuff that they were doing, but I'll have to look it up because I.
Did you want to speak about what we learned about electric buses or
Did we learn anything about electric
Well,
buses?
STA, which is the parent company of
Yes.
our district provider, has 4 in Hennecker. And they're gonna add 10 in Concord. And they seem to be very interested in doing it. The State Department of Environmental Services was pushing this.
Yeah, I did actually mention this when we were talking to Joyce at the elections the other day. I did mention STA. So yes, there is an alternative now to Highland Fleets. But the key here is that the SAU has to show some interest.
Yep.
And so far, I've been unable to generate any interest with the SAU.
So maybe we need to do some lobbying or some education.
Well, we may, I think,
Parents,
well, I think
PTA.
we may need to go to the board rather than the superintendent. The superintendent just doesn't seem interested.
Surprised, I mean, just because just talking to her informally, it was like a year ago. I mean, just generally about solar, doing
Well,
something.
The first and actually the only time I actually met with her face to face, she seemed very enthusiastic, but I never heard from her
Yeah, I'm
again.
just saying she hasn't done following.
And my guess is she's a person who's got a list a mile long,
Yeah.
where at the bottom.
The thing is, she can pass this off to someone else. She's absolutely uninterested. So I was trying to set up a meeting with Highland Fleets to give information to Joe Williams about this. And she said she didn't want the meeting to take place. She wanted to present it to this joint meeting between the town and the SAU. They have some joint meetings for planning processes. When I asked her if she wanted a knowledgeable party to be present to answer questions, and I was thinking the guy from Highland Fleets, she said no.
Okay, then.
You have to bring you to an outdoor meeting where there's a school bus running.
Right.
No,
Yes.
even better, indoor
Indeed.
meeting, when it's a school bus running. You really want to make a point?
Yeah.
Hey.
Connect the hose to
Right.
the exhaust.
School.
Yeah. It's funny, that should be an easy call.
You think
You would
so?
think, I know.
Especially when the transportation company is
That you're using.
using it already, and they seem to be,
Yeah. it sounds-
grabbing onto this and going with it.
But there must be other avenues between the school board, the
Well, I think the school board is probably the first one that we should go to. I need to talk to Connor. He was gonna represent, he said he would be the knowledgeable party at that meeting. I don't know if it's taken place yet or what happened if it did. So I need to talk to Connor about what happened there, if anything. But I do think the board is the next place to go. Kristen also can help us with this. I don't know to what extent, obviously, she
You mean
can't help.
Katrina?
Katrina, yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
no, that's okay, I just want to make sure. you refer to
Because she is familiar with STA.
Yep.
And, that, especially, the fact that is the leasing company that we're using.
Seems to make it pretty
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
they know them.
Yeah, is
Where
it
you
just
gonna
the buses themselves? Because are the bus drivers and everything also part of this contracted third party where it's switching all the staff bus drivers? Or is it
They
really
wouldn't
just
have to switch
same
them.
bus driver who drive a different bus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The driver said, when they first got these buses, the drivers didn't want anything to do with them.
Yeah.
But now the 4 drivers that have them love them.
Yep.
You know? And they're very quiet, you know, there's no exhaust, all this kind of stuff. But,
How would I know when the buses come? When I
well,
start running?
that may be a problem.
They have that weird whirring noise.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if bus drivers have a significant amount of respiratory complaints and headaches and stuff. And
Mhm.
those are alleviated. I was friends with a guy who drove the coast bus and he got a bunch of health problems.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, that's, yeah, that they're exposed to it constantly in that
Yeah.
position.
So on a positive note, having spent all day Tuesday in a
We're
parking
not
lot.
doing positive.
Well, this is good news. Since I spent all day in the parking lot on Tuesday, it's amazing how many electric and hybrid cars there are in this town.
Oh, really?
A lot.
It's good.
You know, it was also interesting in the statistics that we get monthly. The percentage of solar installations in this town is as high as it is in Durham. A little bit higher, which surprised me.
Well, there's a real drop, a real value to save money, right?
So I've done 4 of them myself.
Yeah.
For myself.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, but I think that's like when people understand that they're gonna
Yeah.
save money, you know, that's pretty well accepted.
yeah.
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 But do you plug yours into a house outlet?
What?
Your car,
Yes.
you plug it right into the house outlet?
Yeah.
Well, you have a 240, yeah.
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 Yeah, because I was at the dealership when I bought my truck, and they won the showroom, and it's plugged right into a regular house outlet. I thought it'd be
Yes.
some other
Well,
charging system.
So-
You can do that, but it takes hours and hours.
Oh,
Yeah, so for the first year I had mine, I was plugged into 110, and most of the time that was fine, because I plug it in at 9, whatever.
Yeah.
It's nicer.
Well, and you have a hybrid, so you're not completely
Yeah, it's not as
dependent
much.
on that.
True,
But
yeah.
if you have an EV where you really don't want to use
So
one.
mine takes 4 or 5 hours a day.
yeah,
Unless you only drive 3 days a
doesn't
week.
sound bad.
No, it's not.
Anyone have anything else?
Just want to ask Doug,
Yeah.
if you got my email.
Yeah, I did.
I was
Yeah.
like, where's Doug?
Yeah, well, I just wondered whether they were thinking about like, you know, if somebody inquired about wind power, did they have any more specific or just?
Nothing about
Curious
wind power,
about-
because I wasn't able to answer anything. but
Yeah,
Overall, they were interested in our table. I explained our committee, I explained community power. Then he asked about town meetings and where they are and whatever. So I told him all that, probably about the
Yeah.
age.
because I really only know about offshore wind
What
There
was-
isn't much.
What was the question? Was he
Well,
asking
it's
It's
about
about like
onshore?
wind energy.
around here.
Okay,
Wants it all.
onshore
Yeah.
wind energy in Barrington is not
Yeah.
practical on a small scale.
I have no idea. what
Unless you
he
just
said.
want to have one for.
If you just wanted
To watch it spin around.
Yeah.
to just chat about that.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if I spelled this email right, because it's
right, well. Try.
I did tell some people that they could get in touch with us through the contact site.
yeah, I said that too in case I got the.
Yeah, I mean, because I didn't really want to give out my phone. number.
Yeah.
But I assume we still haven't gotten anything through there. We've heard something, right?
Yeah,
Okay, in that case, we can call it an early night and have a good evening, everyone. See you, Dan.
again.